Good morning. Today is Thursday. I don't know why I start the day off like that, or like these videos off like that, because I mean, most of the time I'm going to record them and post them to my YouTube, so it's really irrelevant what day it is, but I feel like that's the teacher in me. Like, I'm always like, this is what day it is. Good morning, Amanda. Just gonna wait for some people to pop on. I know yesterday, for some reason, it took like, it took longer for people to like get the notification. So I tried to announce that I was coming on. Good morning, y'all. Morning, Stace. Alright, y'all, tag your friends, say good morning, let me know if you're watching the replay, and then I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, our program is coming to an end, which I'm so super sad about, because this has really, like, given me a lot of life, and, like, really made me start my day off with intention. So, I'm going to be really sad when this is over. Good morning, Blair, I love you. So our program is coming to an end, and the last tip I think is going to be posted tomorrow, but we can obviously still utilize this group. You can still add your people so that they can see all the things. Okay, so my top 10 recruiting tips. I even have notes. I'm so prepared this morning. Okay. So I want you to ask yourself a couple of questions first when it comes to recruiting or sponsoring. It's the same thing. I like to say sponsoring, and I'm really trying to like change my verbiage to say sponsoring now instead of recruiting, because recruiting I feel like is very like hardcore, like no real relationship or whatever, but I want to change that. So my top 10 sponsoring tips. You need to ask yourself these questions. Do people know that you want to grow your team? Do people know that? Like, be honest with yourself. Do they know that you want that? Do people know that you want to lead them? Meaning you want to help them be successful and rise, right? Do people know that you are a Scentsy consultant? I mean, be real honest with yourself. I'm talking friends and family. I'm talking social media. I'm talking all the things. Like, I posted on my team page yesterday, I got a cold message from some rando that I've never talked to before, and she was cold messaging me about something random, and number one, she didn't even mention her company name in that message. Number two, I went to her Facebook and I didn't even know what company she was with. So be honest with yourself. Do people know that you are with Scentsy, or do they think that you might be with some other random company because you flip-flopped between direct sales or whatever? Do people know that you are the Scentsy boss? Ask yourself that, okay? Do people know that you have a passion for this business? Do people know that? Like, ask yourself. Not what's just in your heart and not what you feel. Are you portraying that to people? Are you positive on social media? This is a huge one. I'm not saying that you've got to be fake, but if you're on social media being a negative Nancy and bitching about your husband or bitching about the people at Walmart or whatever, like, nobody's going to want to join you. And I'm going to be honest with you. If I see anything negative like that, like, I unfollow them or unfriend them the instant that it's there, because I ain't got time for negativity, and I don't even want to read that. So, like, I don't even want that in my space. So ask yourself that. Do you only post about Scentsy? Or are you only posting at the end of the month or at the beginning of the month or when you need to meet a goal? Ask yourself that, because if that is what you're doing, nobody is even going to pay attention to you, because number one, the way the algorithms are set up, Facebook's going to hide your stuff, and no one wants to be like super salesy. So your Facebook should be like 80% your life and your business sprinkled in. 80-20. Like, you cannot just post only about Scentsy and only about being salesy, okay? So ask yourself those questions, all right? Now, top 10 recruiting tips. I wanted to just like set the tone with those things first, because I feel like if you're saying no to those things, you've really got to like switch that up too. First one, tip number 1. Planting seeds now that are going to harvest later. You have to continually be having sponsoring conversations. You can not only have sponsoring conversations when there's a $15 join special, or when there's a Scentsy Go special when you join, or whatever. Like, you have to be having these conversations all the time. I'm going to be honest with you. These specials are great for me when it comes to sponsoring, because I am having conversations all year long. So when I'm continually having conversations, then I can reach back out to these people and say, hey, we've got this join special, blah, blah, blah. But I want you to ask yourself how many people you have, or you yourself, how many people have actually joined the very first time you've asked them. It's pretty likely that that's not happening. And that's not going to be true for most people. I think the statistic is 7 times that someone has to be like asked before they like commit. And I know for me, I watched for a year before I ever did anything. So if you are only asking when there's a join special, you're setting yourself up for failure, because people are going to realize that, and you're not like always in the sponsoring mindset. You have to be sponsoring as a lifestyle all the time. So that's the first one. Tip number 2, guys, stop saying join my team. Take my team out of your vocab, because you should never say join my team. You need to make it about them. You need to make it about how Scentsy can bless them, not how it can bless you. Because honestly, people are going to see right through that. And that's 100% why you should be sponsoring. Does it help you? 100%. However, my goal when I'm sponsoring people and when I'm bringing them into this business is not about me. It's about how it can bless them. And I truly believe and know that Scentsy can bless their life and completely change it. So you have to take join my team out of the conversation. You can say things like join our team, or let me tell you how this business could bless you, or whatever. And I'm not saying you can't say join my team, but you've got to make it about them, not about you. So think of other verbiage that you can say where it's not about you. You've got to make it about them. Tip number 3, this is a big one that I feel like just as a whole with Scentsy, changing the way that you say things. So typically when you see like flyers or whatever, you see buy, host, join. Well, we have got to like flip the script. We have got to switch our mindset to join, host, buy. Because think about it. If you start off by asking someone to buy the product and they say no, how in the hell are you going to ask them to then join your team or offer them the business opportunity? You can't. Like, you've boxed yourself in. So you always start with the opportunity so that you have the opportunity to fall back on hosting and then buying. Because, I mean, it just makes no sense. And I feel like that took me a while to realize, like, I need to start off with the opportunity when you're reaching out to people, because then you can go to hosting a party if they're not ready to join your team. Then if they don't want to host your party, you can go to buying the product. And even if they say, no, they're not interested in buying your product, after you've said join, host, buy, you can ask for referrals. So just because you get a no in any of those, that doesn't mean that you need to stop the conversation, because they're going to realize that that was why you were the only reason why you were reaching out to them. And because you can always turn those no's into something positive. You don't just like stop the conversation because somebody says no. So change your verbiage to join, host, buy. Okay. Tip number 4. I kind of touched on this in number 1. You have got to make sponsoring a lifestyle. You have got to make sponsoring a lifestyle. You need to always be having those conversations, and you need to see the opportunity in every single person. Like, you do not get to prejudge whether or not someone could benefit or even want this business. Don't let your mind and opinions cross people off your list without even asking them, because you don't get to make that judgment for other people. You don't get to make that decision. And if you are making that decision for other people, you are doing yourself and you're doing them a disservice. It doesn't matter if they, like Cassidy Johnson, for me, she is so great, because I feel she's a lawyer, right? And I mean, who knows if she needs extra money because she's a lawyer? Or like Kristen Ingalls, for example, she didn't join for the money. She joined because she wanted an outlet, and she wanted something that was going to bring her joy, because her nursing job was a very sad place because of the floor that she works on. So don't discount whether or not someone wants to join because of the money or because of whatever reason, because money isn't always why people want to do this. And I feel like a lot of times we get caught in that, like, oh, well, she doesn't need extra money, I'm not going to ask her. Guys, like, it doesn't matter if you feel like they need extra money. Number 1, you don't know what people are going through behind closed doors. And number 2, people join for friendships, people join for outlets, people join for such other reasons. So do not cross someone off of your list or not ask them because you feel like they're not going to want to do it. Because if you don't ask, the answer's always no. Okay? Tip 5. Fortune is in the follow-up. This goes back again to planting seeds, okay? Fortune is in the follow-up. If someone says no, that doesn't mean no forever. And I want you to remember that when it comes to how many times it took you to join, or how many times it took the rock star that joined your business to join. Like, how many times did they say no or not right now, and then eventually it turned into a yes? I'm not saying that you hound the hell out of people, but no doesn't always mean no forever. I watched for a year. I know so many other people watched before they decided to join. And I'm so glad that you guys are interacting with me. I love it when you guys are talking to me, especially people are saying that they joined for friendships and community. I think that that's something that people sometimes forget about, that people join for those reasons too. So don't discount that, okay? So Fortune is in the follow-up. If you don't have a dream team list written down, you need to get it together. I don't care if you feel like you are going to remember. You're not going to remember every single person, number 1. And number 2, the system that I created for your dream team list has you holding yourself accountable for following up and continuing to build relationships with these people. Because if you are only asking someone one time, it's not enough. You have to continue to build that relationship. And it's not just about Scentsy. It's not just about that, because if that's the only reason why you're talking to people, people are going to know that. But you have to follow up. You have to continue to build that list. If you do not have it written down, get your life together today. You are not going to remember every single person you talk to, and you need to have a dream team list of people that Like, you're scared to talk to and you're scared to ask. The most successful people in the world, okay? Those are the people you need to take a list of. Tip 6, every single host, I'm going to say it again. Every single host that hosts a party should be offered the opportunity to keep her party and join. Stop being selfish with the PRV. Stop thinking that it's going to kill your business, and offer the host the party. Guys, I promise you, you are going to see so much return off of a good host joining your team than you will by keeping that PRV. Because you know what, guys? That PRV you get paid on once. That team member that joins, that keeps that PRV, that continues to be trained and that continues to rise and that continues to do all the things, you're going to get paid on them over and over and over. Period. Exactly. It says you gain, Denise said, you gain more by giving. 110%. One of Scentsi's core values is to give more than you take. Do it, guys. Don't be selfish and give that PRV and do it. Now we even have the kit. When I had written a lot of these top 10 tips, we didn't even have the kit. We didn't even have the kit to join. We were just giving that PRV to them and letting them join. Like, give them the kit. Give them the PRV. Okay. I'm going to talk about that, Jessica. So, I'm going to actually talk about that right now. Do not be afraid to recruit your best customers. I'm going to say it again. Do not be afraid to recruit your best customers because they already love the product. Most of the time they're hosting parties for you and they're already doing the work, and they can take care of their people and their friends way better than you can. And I know that sounds harsh, but they have a relationship with those people more than you do. And they are going to take care of them a whole lot better than you will. And absolutely, Sarah says, my best customers have become my best consultants. I have recruited all of my best customers because now they're successful. Now they are gaining money off of their sales, and they have created a business and they've brought in their people. I promise you, you will not regret recruiting your best customers as long as you continue to build your customer base. You have to. And if they're not, a lot of reasons that people are scared to recruit their best customers is because they're not continually bringing in new customers. And that's just a whole nother training. But your best customers and your best hosts need to be the first people that you're going to. If you have never asked your best party hosts and your best customers to join your team, go do it today. Go do it today, because you're going to regret it and someone else is going to ask them. Period. So go recruit your best customers. Tip 7, brand yourself. Everyone that is around you or sees you out should know that you're a Scentsy consultant. Period. There's a thing on my car. I always have catalogs and samples with me. I have a Wax Boss tank top on. Like, everybody needs to know that you are the Scentsy lady. There doesn't need to be a question of what direct sales you do, because if you're doing another direct sales, we just need to talk about that. Like, just stop and pick one. But you've got to brand yourself. People need to know. My work bag has Scentsy on it. People need to know that you are living and breathing that Scentsy lifestyle. Okay? Because I can't tell you the amount of conversations that have been brought up by my car. I've had a lady pull me over, like beeping at me, asking me to pull over because she needed a Scentsy consultant because she just moved to town. How stupid would I have felt if I didn't have anything on me, but I have it on my car and my license plate says Wax Boss? Like, you have got to brand yourself. You don't ever want to be in a situation where you are caught without something with your name on it, etc. I have this like middle section in my purse that I have a catalog. Okay, I have a catalog with my information that I'm ready to give away. Now, am I just going to give it away? No, I'm going to get their contact information. But like, you have to brand yourself. Girl, Amber said her cousin teases her because all you wear is Scentsy branded clothes. Girl, bye. I do too. That's it. And I mean, who cares? Because the haters are eventually going to ask if you're hiring, period. Do you know how many people like laughed at me when I joined and told me I would never last and said this was a fad and a pyramid scheme and all this, that, and the other? And I'm laughing my way all the way to Marco Island in Austin for free and earn top 100 and like all the things. So don't you dare let anybody make fun of you, because I just laugh it off and I'm like, whatever, since he's paying my bill, so peace out, Girl Scout, like, be whatever, you know, brand yourself. It's so important. Tip 8, posting on Facebook is not the way to grow your business. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. Posting on Facebook is not the way to grow your business. I will have coaching calls with people and I'm like, well, how many people have you asked to join your team? And they're like, 1. I posted on Facebook. Girl, ask all the people. Girl, stop just posting on Facebook. That is not the way that I have sponsored 7 people this month and 3 people last month. That isn't the way to do it. Stop posting on Facebook and thinking everyone is going to come to you, because they're not. Half the time, people aren't even seeing your posts. Facebook is important. Instagram is important. Social media is important. But guys, stop thinking that you are going to be successful and run your business by posting a Facebook status. You need to stay relevant, yes. You need to post that you are a Scentsy consultant and that you want to grow your team and all of that, because people are watching even when you don't realize that they're watching. People are always watching you. There's been people that have reached out to me and told me they've been watching me for years. But guess what? I didn't ask them to join. And that's my fault. But it's very unlikely that people are just going to flock to you to join. You have got to stop thinking that posting on Facebook is working your business. That is not income producing or directly income producing. You're not going to be super successful from just posting on Facebook. You have to be intentional and have conversations. Tip 9, ask. It's that simple. Ask. So many people will say, I can't get anybody to join my team. But when I ask them how many people they've asked, they'll say 2 or 3. Girl, bye. Girl, ask all the people. Because if you don't ask, the answer is always no. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. And I'm going to tell you what. And I'm going to tell you this right now, and I love y'all, and I'm not saying this to piss anybody off, but if you don't ask them to join your team, and they're in my circle, I'm going to ask them to join my team. And you can't be mad when they join me when you never asked. Now, if you ask them first, and I go and ask them, I'm going to send them back to you, because that is what Scentsy Spirit is about. You don't ever go and take somebody. If somebody else has been recruiting them, you don't ever go and try and convince them to join your team, because that's how you're going to get kicked out of the Scentsy circle real quick, because we don't do that. For instance, Chrissy Smith is one of the directors in my group now. I was actively trying to get her to join, and I had no idea that Blair, who is my director, was her nanny in college, and Blair was also recruiting her. Well, when Chrissy told me that Blair was talking to her, I was like, oh girl, like, you need to join under Blair, and talked Blair up, because number 1, it was truth, but number 2, don't you dare go take someone else's recruit, because that is not what we do. If someone else is recruiting them, you don't go and take them. But I'm gonna tell you this, if you've never asked them, they think you don't want to grow your team. People don't know if you want to grow your team if you don't ask. I had Bailey Kunath, I probably said your name wrong. Bailey, for instance, was partying with another Scentsy consultant, and that consultant never asked her to join her team. Maybe she didn't want to grow her team. Maybe she didn't want to be a leader. For whatever reason, she never asked her. And you have got to ask, because I'm telling you, I'm going to ask all the people. And if you are not asking at least 50 people a month, you're not doing enough. And I know you're going to hear that number and be like, oh shit. But guys, I don't just mean cold messaging. You should not be cold messaging anyone. But I don't mean like just doing a script and messaging 50 people. A conversation can be something as simple as, girl, have you ever thought about doing what I do? Or, girl, I'm about to close your party. Are you sure you don't want to keep it? That counts as a conversation. It doesn't have to be something so super serious. It can literally just be when someone says, dang, how are you going to Marco Island? Girl, I earned it for free. Like, if you want some info, let me know. Like, and it can be that simple. And that's how conversations even get started. So ask all the people. If they say no, you put them on your dream team list anyway. You follow up with them. You ask them for referrals. No doesn't mean no forever, but do not decide that the answer is no for someone else. Tip 10. The last one is share your story and share your why. Your story and your why are different. And a lot of people get hung up on that. So your why is going back to why you joined in the first place. So why you joined. So my why is on my 10-10-1. Like, I want all of those things for my life. That is my why. That is what my goals are. That is what is going to pick me up and make me keep working even when I don't feel like it. Your why is different than your story. Your story is where you've been, and it could also include why you joined, but also where this is taking you. So when I say share your why, that means why you initially joined and what you're reaching for, but your story is different. So when I say my why is to pay for my kids' college and get out of debt and live in my dream home, but my story is that when I originally joined Scentsy on the $49 kit with $72 in my bank account, I was running away from a heroin addict and domestic violence. And I've risen against that and found my confidence and found a way to find my place in the world. And Scentsy is giving me the opportunity to walk away from my full-time job. So your story and your why are different, and you need to share both of those because, and if you don't know the difference between your story and your why, we can talk about that, but they are different. And you need to share it with passion. Guys, be passionate and don't be afraid. When I get on Facebook Live and I talk about my why and my story, I cry almost every single time because I'm passionate and because I truly believe that this can change people's lives, and I know that it can. And people trust me and people want to join me because they know I'm passionate and they've seen that I'm not going anywhere. And they see that I'm consistent. They see that it's been almost 4 years and I'm not doing another direct sales and that I'm all in. So that is what people need to see. They need to see that you're passionate and that you're not going anywhere. And guys, they need to see consistency. Straight up, they need to see consistency. Like, they need to see it and they need to know. And anybody that knows me knows that I joined Scentsy when I was in that situation. And they've seen me grow into this person that I never believed that I could be. And I can say that because people have I had a girl reach out to me like this week and was like, hey girl, what was your maiden name? I cannot remember. And I was like, hello, but I was a Throckmorton too. Like, what's going on? She was like, girl, that one of our friends from high school posted that picture of us cheerleading or whatever, and we were talking about how much you've changed and how like strong you are and all that. And I mean, that's just from Facebook, guys, and that's from me being passionate about life and just sharing what's actually going on and being vulnerable. So those are my top 10 tips. A few other things that I wanted to just add on here at the end is you are not going to die if someone says no. You're not going to die. If someone says no to you, you are not going to die. If someone ignores you, you're not going to die. Who cares? And I'm going to be honest, I don't even really recognize when people ignore me or don't respond, because I'm asking so many people, it doesn't faze me. And because I know in my heart of heart that I am asking them to do these things I'm asking them to join because it's going to change their life. And you're not going to die, and it doesn't matter, because I'm going to tell you what, I can go back and look at some of the people that have eventually like maybe reached out to me later. They may have ignored me a year ago, but they've been watching me on Facebook for the last year. And then they reach out to me when they ignored me a year ago when I reached out to them about joining. So you're not going to die if somebody ignores you or if someone says no. So get out of your own head and just be brave. It's going to be okay. But you have to believe that you are blessing people. Because if you don't believe that, people are going to be able to see right through that. So I wanted to say that. You've got to be intentional with your wording. So like our tip yesterday or the day before, whatever day it was the tip about like crafting what you're going to say to people about what you do, because so many times we word vomit on people when they ask us what Scentsy is or what we do or whatever. You have got to be intentional with your wording and with like just anything. So for instance, if you are out and about at Target or wherever and you're just having a conversation, you don't have to word vomit on people that you're a Scentsy consultant. You could literally just have oh, hey, I was just picking up some labels for my business or whatever, just to put that in conversation. That's not a very good example, but just being prepared to insert Scentsy into your daily life is going to make a difference in being intentional and having those things ready in the back of your mind and even written down. I am literally the most awkward person on the face of the planet when it comes to random interactions, because I say stupid shit. And I'm sorry, but I do, because it comes out before I think about it. And I know that if I'm not intentional and I haven't written down things that I could say, I'm going to say something stupid. And a lot of times that's what held me back when I first joined, is I would rather just not say anything than say something stupid, but then I'm regretting it later. And 5 minutes later, I'm like, why didn't I say such and such? Because I'm awkward and I was scared and I didn't want to sound stupid. So you know what I've done? I've written things down that I can just practice in my head to say to people, because I'm sure I'm not the only person on the face of this planet that's awkward or you don't know what to say. So write it down and be intentional when it comes to things like that. Not saying that you have to have a script, but you can be so intentional just even out at the store about, someone asked me the other day, I had to take my testers in with me and they wouldn't fit in my purse. They're like, what is that? And I tell them, these are my employees. And they're like, what? And I'm like, these are my testers. I'm a Scentsy consultant and I have to take them inside because they'll melt, but these little guys are going to be dropped off with a party host and make some money. And if I wouldn't have had that in my brain, I literally would have, there's no telling what I would have said. So you need to be very intentional. If you are moving, and I talked to someone, one of my downline about this. If you are moving and a lot of times people will move and they will be really worried about what they're going to do about their customers or all of that. They're for instance, a lot of times we get free shipping orders. So my friend is moving from Fayetteville to Ainger, which is about an hour away. And she was like, I don't really know how to tell my customers that I'm not going to be in Fayetteville all the time. And I'm like, you need to recruit them. You need to recruit them. You don't need to leave all of these customers that you've built up in Fayetteville. You need to ask every single one of them to join so that they are still supporting your business and you're bringing new people on. And then you're not feeling like you need to come to Fayetteville 2 times a month to drop off free shipping orders. You need to recruit them. You need that. If you're having to drive an hour to go do a Scentsy party, you need a Scentsy consultant there. You need somebody in that area. You have got to grow outside of where you're at. And that's why I do all of these text parties, and I always ask those people to join, because you have got to ask everybody. Okay? So those were my top 10 tips. I hope that was helpful for you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. And just to recap really quickly, plant seeds now, they'll grow in the future. Number 2, don't make it about you, make it about them. Number 3, start with the opportunity, then partying, then buying. Join, host, buy. Take everything else and out of your mind. Join, host, buy. Tip 4, make it a lifestyle. See opportunity in everyone, and do not discount someone based on your thoughts. You don't get that opportunity. You don't have that power. Ask them. Tip 5, fortune is in the follow-up. Just because they say no now doesn't mean no forever. You need to have that dream team list from the system I created. Write their name down, continue to build relationships with them, and follow up. Most people do not join the first time that you ask them. Tip 6, every single host needs to be offered the opportunity to keep her party and join. Don't be selfish with the PRV. They can take better care of their customers, and it's going to pay you back over and over. Tip 7, brand yourself. People need to know you're the Scentsy lady, not the direct sales lady. When they go to any of your social media profiles, they need to know that you're Scentsy. They need to know that you're serious. Brand yourself. All the things. Put your face on everything. Tip 8, posting on Facebook is not the way to grow your business. Stop just posting and thinking everybody's going to come to you. Stay relevant, but you need to ask people and be personable. Tip 9, ask. Ask all the people. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. The only difference between a certified consultant and a superstar director, besides the time and all of those things, is the amount of times that they have heard no. Who cares how many times that you have heard no? Nobody died from being told no. Period. And superstar directors have been told no more times than anybody else because they're continually asking people to join. And tip 10, share your story, share your why with passion, and just don't be afraid, guys. Because if you are going to sit around and be afraid, you are going to be upset when your dream team members join someone else's team. Okay? So I hope this was helpful for top 10 tips. I love y'all, and I just hope y'all have a good day. Ask all the people, especially with this $15 join special. Like, use the last 2 days of the month to build your business for the future. Love y'all. Have a good day.